Over a dozen more Gambian migrants are repatriated from Germany. Witness presents police diary containing records of Eric Jao and 2 other Ghanaian migrants to avoid being falsified by the state. And in South Africa, civil rights groups call for ivermectin use to treat COVID-19 patients. These and more coming on the world today. Do stay with us. Good evening, you're watching the World Newscast. I am Sohna Tunkara, and now to our news in detail. A Dutch flight believed to be carrying Gambian deportees reportedly landed at the Banjul International Airport in the early hours of Thursday. The flight, according to sources, came from Germany and reportedly carried about 20 repatriated migrants. Many Gambians, both at home and abroad, raised concerns over the mass deportation the country is experiencing under the Barrow-led administration. Our reporter Binta Jallo has more in this report.
The airline operated by Corendon left Frankfurt at 11 p.m. on Wednesday, reaching Banjul by 2:30 a.m., according to iAfrica aviation sources. This comes at a time when the country is battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many Gambians, both at home and abroad, raised concerns over the mass deportation. However, the Gambia government recently tried to keep its head above waters following the accusation that it has signed deals with the German government and other European countries that covers the deportation of African migrants from Europe. Yankuba Sonko, a member of many refugees associations and NGOs in Germany, said the deportation process has been going on since they lifted the moratorium when the current government took office.
Between German and Gambia government, there were a lot of individual deportations when immediately when they lift up the moratorium. Then November last year, German started the mass deportation, which was on the 18th of November, they deported 22 Gambians from Germany to the Gambia. Again, they went further to request another which we were aware of, and we got all these facts. These are all what I am saying are based on facts, not fictions.
Sonko went further to blame the government and accused them of playing games with Gambians.
Again, in December 22nd, this last December, German wanted to do another mass deportation, which they requested from the Gambia government. But remember, that was the time the president and the whole entire ministers were doing the Meet the People's tour. So due to that, we have these facts from our sources that Gambia government rejected that or played some tactics to delay that deportation of December because they give only an excuse that president was not in State House. And again, the German government went further that they still have their objective, that is to deport Gambians, Gambians asylum seekers here. So means there is a secrecy between them and Gambia government not to give such information till the deportees arrive in Gambia. So we know from the deportees themselves, because we are in contact with them previous to their departure. Like when they are in deportation prisons, we are in contact. I personally, as the PRO of Gambia Refugee Association, I'm in contact with most of these deportees in their individual prisons. So they inform us, like they can tell you in this prison there is this number of Gambians. So putting them together, we get a figure of 25, but this is not confirmed by the both authorities.
Overall, Germany intends to deport at least 4,000 Gambians whose asylum claims were rejected. In the German region of Baden-Württemberg alone, there are over 15,000 registered Gambian asylum seekers, of whom at least 4,000 have been rejected. Reporting for iAfrica TV, Binta Jallo.
The rate of deportation is skyrocketing as many more Gambian migrants are repatriated from Europe to the Gambia. Now, the expanding program on immunization of the Ministry of Health will on Monday, 8th of March, start a nation vaccination campaign against cervical cancer. More than 95% of cervical cancer cases globally is due to infections with human papillomavirus. Daisy tells us more in this report.
The Gambia has introduced a vaccine to fight cervical cancer known as papillomavirus among girls and women. Cervical cancer is the most common cancer among Gambian women, and most women diagnosed with cancer report late to hospital, which have increased mortality. The expanding program on immunization of the Gambia's Ministry of Health is raising awareness on its upcoming nationwide cervical cancer vaccination campaign in the country. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, the program manager of the expanding program on immunization, Siddharth Fofana, encourages the public to take the vaccination, especially young girls who are not exposed to sexual activities.
To protect our population is by vaccination. Whatever type of vaccination, and we should come and embrace it. So this little information we are going to give you, use it, try to convince the population. There are people, whatever we do, they're just negative. If people are negative to their creator, who are we? They must be negative to us. So, but if we put down the positive things, the wise ones will definitely come up to take up the vaccine, and they will ask questions, and they will act positively. That way, we will be able to protect.
The human papillomavirus vaccine is said to be 95% effective against cervical cancer. Bakari Tijan of the World Health Organization described the vaccination program as a good opportunity for the Gambia to fight against cervical cancer.
This is in accordance with the WHO mandate to support guidance of country member states to ensure that basic issues are addressed, basic problems are addressed, basic solutions are addressed with regards to hepatitis. We develop strategies called primary, secondary, and tertiary strategies. One of the primary strategies is health promotion to ensure that people are aware of the risks involved. And secondary, tertiary is screening and providing screening services and prevention of the cervical cancer before it reaches the other levels. The third level is the tertiary level, which is very expensive, and most of us, particularly in poor countries, cannot afford, which is radiotherapy through radiologists and through radio screening, which is very expensive, and in most cases we don't even have it in most countries. Even if you have it, you don't have experts to run it. So it is an issue. So therefore, this is a very good opportunity for us. WHO has done a lot of reviews regarding cervical cancer issues. So to tell the public very clearly that this is very safe, it has no problem, it has no effect. There is no drug without side effects.
There are misconceptions with regards to the cervical cancer vaccination program and that of COVID-19 vaccinations, but the Deputy Director of Health Promotion, Sanjali Trawale, clarifies that the vaccinations that should take place in schools are for cervical cancer and not COVID-19.
There are so many rumors. People are saying COVID vaccine has already arrived and they want to introduce the vaccine into the school. That is not the case. COVID-19 came in yesterday, but this one has been ongoing since, as I said, since 2014. So it's not the same vaccine. And even for COVID vaccine, we are saying it's very safe and effective, and people should be ready to take in the vaccine.
Cervical cancer is a preventable disease, and it affects too many women in the African region. There is an urgent need to integrate cancer control programs into existing primary sexual and reproductive health care services, strengthen multi-sectoral collaboration, and improve public health awareness in order to tackle this devastating disease. The vaccine has been rolled out nationally since 2019, targeting girls in grade 3. and dropouts aged 9 to 14 are also encouraged to visit schools for vaccination starting 8th of March 2021. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy Say.
The Gambia is set to commence cervical cancer vaccination across the country. Now, moving on to the matters of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Lamin Cham, a CID commanding officer at the Brikama Police Headquarters, has on Thursday testified before the commission concerning the police diary he kept under his custody and the torture of Eric Jawa, which took place at the police headquarters in Banjul. Officer Cham's testimony comes following the presentation of the said diary by the Inspector General of Police, Mahmoud Job, bearing the records of the West African migrants in July 2005. And according to him, he kept the diary for safety reasons to avoid being falsified by the state. Khadija Seka takes us through.
The witness Lamin Cham told the commission that he personally kept the police diary in his custody. He said the reason he kept it was to protect himself, avoid the state from tampering with it, and not be incriminated on the alleged massacre of the West African migrants.
The first reason why I kept the diary was for my own security. The other reason why I kept the diary was because of the fact that the state was bent in covering up all trace about the migrants. And I have seen diaries exhibited. So when this one was full, as I am the custodian, I kept it at home.
The witness added that he believes Eric Yah was tortured as they wanted him to confess that he was among the West African migrants apprehended from the shores of Barra.
I did not dispute the fact because I knew these migrants had done a lot of things. Probably they wanted him because Lamin Tunkara was received to the NIA. Probably they wanted Eric to confirm to them that he's part of the migrants. And that might warranted the torture. That's why I didn't dispute it.
To cover up the alleged crimes, Cham believed that police diaries of Bursubi, Fatoto and Barra were kept hidden in the office of the then Crime Management Coordinator Enes Sanyang under the instructions of the then Inspector General of Police Usman Sonko. Reporting for Africa News, I am Khadija Seka.
Now, in a bid to increase their earnings, many Nigerians, including women, are adopting side hustling to enable them respond their needs. Many workers' monthly earning is not enough to settle their bills, which for some of them resort to other options. Now, due to the unfavorable economic climate, millions of Nigerian workers look for more opportunities while millions are still unemployed.
Nsushima Agwabi works as a customer service assistant in one of the banks in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Her 6-year-old career earns her a monthly income of about $150. It's not enough to pay her bills. In a bid to supplement her income, she set up an oil perfume business called Nshima Scents. Now she rakes in nearly twice her monthly salary from the side business.
Let me start selling these perfumes too, since they are easy to carry. I can carry them in my bag to work and I can advertise it anywhere. I can stop anybody on the road to buy my perfume. So I started selling. The salary is not enough. So this has really helped. You know, in Nigeria, before the salary comes in, you've spent it. But this business has really helped me.
But combining her full-time job with her side hustle hasn't been a walk in the park.
I must confess, it's not easy. I have to wake up very early in the morning, prepare for work. Then when I come back, that's when my business starts. My business doesn't clash with my job. Even if I want to sell to the staff, it's when it's after work. I don't sell during office hours.
The National Bureau of Statistics reports that 21.7 million Nigerians are unemployed and another 28.6% are underemployed. Like Nsushima, millions of employed Nigerian youths engage in various forms of side hustles to augment their regular income. The economic climate has been unfavorable, as minimum wage is pegged at $70 monthly.
The economic reality is very grim, and day by day inflation is eating into the standard of living of individuals in Nigeria, while the employers, either governments or the private sector, are not doing anything to increase the salaries of employed Nigerians. In the reality that we found ourselves, it will be difficult for us to discourage the issue of side hustling. However, side hustling must not be done in such a way that it affects the current employment of that person.
While side hustle may be boosting the income of citizens, experts warn that it could lead to divided focus and burnout from overworking. But many, like Msushima, aren't taking chances. They're securing other alternatives which they can fall back on upon retirement.
Many Nigerians are resorting to other options to boost their earnings. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization under the Ministry of Agriculture has on Thursday validated the National Cooperative Policy 2020-2030. This is the first national cooperative policy geared towards economic growth, as well as to ensure that cooperative policy is effective through the support of the government. Ndesise files in this report.
The first ever national cooperative policy is expected to address the challenges in the country's cooperative services, as well as to promote good governance and facilitate cooperative development. There are many forms of cooperatives in other parts of the world, but in the Gambia, there are only two called the Financial Cooperative and Agricultural Cooperative. However, a member of the task force committee that drafted the national policy, Babakar Ojuv, explains why there is a need for cooperative policy in the Gambia.
Colonial days, we were handed an act, a cooperative act, to serve as our law. But we did not have a policy. A policy guides government in terms of how it operates in a particular sector of the economy. Now, this policy is intended to guide the cooperative movement.
The FAO country representative, Moshibudu Rampidi, acknowledged that cooperative movements deserve support from the government to help its members. Rampidi assured that the European Union's support to the Gambia will go beyond the national cooperative policy validated.
Support of the European Union has really made a difference for the agriculture sector. It has made it possible for the FAO to give policy and technical support and join government in the fight against food insecurity. I therefore want to really take this opportunity and share with you that the EU support goes beyond the policy that we are going to consider today.
The Minister of Agriculture, Ami Fabre, says the agricultural and cooperative sector in the Gambia over the years suffered major setbacks under the regime of the Second Republic. She says her ministry will address the sufferance and setbacks the sectors had to go through.
Hence, reducing the functions of cooperatives into a service unit under the Department of Agriculture. My ministry found it relevant to salvage and change the tides for the better. And I want to assure you that as far as we are in the office, the cooperative societies and the cooperative in general will change.
The overall objective of this national cooperative policy is to harness the cooperative's potential to contribute to sustainable growth in the Gambian economy and reduce food insecurity, malnutrition, and migration flows. The policy is also meant to guide all the credit unions, farmers, those related to farming and production of food. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Desise.
We will now go with a short commercial break. The news continues shortly after the break. Stay tuned.
For the first time in the Gambia, your favorite GSM operator, Africell, is the first and only GSM operator to launch a brand new technology called the eSIM. The eSIM simply means you can use your phone without a SIM card. Do you have an iPhone 11, any of the iPhone X series, a Google Pixel 3, or any new phone that supports the e-technology? Then walk into any AfriCell customer care center and activate your eSIM today. With your virtual AfriCell SIM, you can use more than one number without having a physical SIM card in your phone. Enjoy this brand new technology for the first time in the Gambia, brought to you by AfriCell. eSIM your phone without a SIM card. For more information, please call 111. Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the World Newscast, and now to the rest of our stories. As the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic continues around the world, there has been a growing call in South Africa for doctors to be allowed to use ivermectin to treat coronavirus patients. And presently, health authorities are making only it available for controlled use, following the drug's initial ban by the country's health regulatory authority. But one of the civil rights groups that has been leading the fight for the use of the medicine, saying the drug should not have been banned. The civil rights organization is also heading to court to make sure that the drug is widely available. Details in this report.
Ivermectin is a drug that has been around for many years. It is used for the treatment and control of parasites in animals. It's also used to treat humans for several tropical diseases not commonly seen in South Africa.
Recently, there have been public calls for doctors to be allowed to administer the drugs, but South Africa's health authorities are only making it available for controlled use.
The drug was initially declared illegal by the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority. The regulatory authority warned that there's not enough scientific evidence around the use of the drug, both for safety and efficacy, to either treat or prevent COVID-19. But last month, after legal wrangles, the authority approved a controlled use of the drug on humans. But civil rights group AfriForum, an organization that has been spearheading the fight for the wide usage of the drug, says the drug should never have been banned in the first place. The group says ivermectin is currently a legally dispensable drug in South Africa due to a technical oversight by the regulatory authority.
The question is ivermectin illegal, as has been alleged by many so far? The fact, and that question can be answered simply, it is not illegal. In fact, it's already listed as a Schedule 3 medicine in the Medicines Act. It's been printed there. It's true, it's always been like that.
At a media briefing, AfriForum announced that the South African drug regulator never published a notice in a government gazette to declare the drug illegal in the first place. This is a requirement as per the Medicines and Related Substances Act, necessitating registration of the drug. The Act also requires that select medicines must be registered prior to any commercial activity.
It's a legal medicine, it's listed in the Act, and in the absence of a call for registration, there's no further need to legalize the medicine. It can be administered as we understand the Act.
It is about giving medical professionals every tool possible in the fight against COVID-19 so that they can also honor the oath they took.
In spite of this new information, AfriForum is still taking the fight to court to ensure the drug is widely available.
We had been to the urgent court, and the urgent court granted an interim order that actually just allowed for the program to be recognized and to be given a chance. And that's where we stand at this stage with the application. They failed during this 30 years to publish the notice inviting the public to register ivermectin. And with that being said, we believe that the whole legal challenge is now on a totally different footing.
The group will now amend its court application to obtain a declaratory order that ivermectin is a legal Schedule 3 medicine and readily available.
A young woman in Uganda is becoming more attracted in wildlife upkeeping to help protect wild animals and preserve nature. Wildlife conservation is the act of protecting plants and animal species and their habitats, and also educate people on living sustainably with other animals. As we feature in this report, the young lady explains her passion for wildlife conservation and desire to protect nature.
Another day at work for Holly Olive Akello. Part of her job at the CTC Conservation Center in central Uganda is looking after these 4 lion cubs. And this is her daily routine. Her love for wildlife started when she came across a snake as a child.
This is something that I've always wanted to do since I was maybe 5 years old, if I can remember well, because I remember when I went to the garden when my grandies were in the garden. So I went to the garden and I found this snake, the Gabon viper. It was just lying somewhere under the log. I picked it up and I liked the sound that it was making. It was hissing. So I carried it and brought it to my grandparents and asked them if I could play with it.
Moved by the experience then, Akello has put in a lot of work to get here. Already, her relationship with Ada, Nala, Sarabi and Vera is unusual.
Vera is stubborn. When you start playing with her, she sometimes gets a bit rough because she doesn't know how strong she is. But it's just being so excited. She gets so excited and I just like her the way she is. Then we have Nala. She's playful, she doesn't want you to touch her, but she wants to touch you.
After almost a year working with the lion cubs, Olive knows how to make herself a valued and well-loved member of the pride. And with the pumpkin bowls, their favorite, they take time to play. It is not only the lion cubs that Akello gets along with. There is Dexter, the playful Savo cat, and Altaf, the hyena. He loves her company too.
It all takes passion. You see, passion, and if you know your purpose in life, and for me, I know that my purpose in life is to really work with the animals, take care of the animals, and conserve nature.
While she is fully aware of how dangerous animals like these can be, her courage and love for wildlife overcomes her fears. And she wants to see more humans relate better with animals.
If you bring animals close to people's heart, there's a way that they're going to understand these animals much more better than them just thinking about them as monsters and just wanting to kill them.
Akello has dedicated her young life to protecting these and probably more wild animals, and she hopes her work can inspire many more young women develop a passion for conservation.
That was all from me and the rest of the crew on The World Today. Do stay with us for more of our programs. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
Pride we take in our brand, the work we put in to constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none.